All right, this is going to be day one of trying to become a qualified contender for Pokemon Worlds 2026. That is the goal of what we're trying to do. We just finished up the last day of the 2025 championships yesterday. And I wanted to start this YouTube series really just to document my process and what I'm trying to do to eventually try to qualify this year. I really don't have any experience whatsoever when it comes to doing Pokemon tournaments. I don't really have much experience within the VGC world, to be completely honest. I think I'm probably at a very common state to many people that are, have been fans of Pokemon for a long time and are trying to look more into it, especially within the competitive scene. It's definitely become a huge explosion, right? I think on Twitch there was like 50K viewers watching the championships on Sunday, which was like incredible. I've been a Pokemon fan ever since I was a kid. I played the games on my DS, and I knew that there was an online scene, but I never really knew how deep it went. I was kind of familiar with Worlds at the time, and then I became a teenager and thought I was too cool for Pokemon. And then look where I'm at now, 25 years old, going to the Pokemon World Championships as a spectator. I kind of fell back in love with Pokemon over the past 2 years, really. Kind of going back to my roots as a kid, trying to feed on that nostalgia a little bit, but also trying to do something new. And one of those things was discovering the VGC scene, and watching videos like that. I kind of really liked, of course, watching people like Wolfie, and just in general seeing how people built their teams, the amount of time that went into it. Really what draws me to it is the complexity of it all. I think I love numbers. I love data. I love, seeing how IVs can change, how a Pokemon can be interpreted as a community. I'd say I'm a pretty casual watcher of VGC. And after this Worlds, I definitely want to embed myself more into that community and also try to really become a competitor as well. I know a lot of people that I talk to at Worlds, they've been doing VGC for a couple years now, and I really wanted to bring a perspective to a community of just like maybe a common fan, and how that common fan can put in the hours, and see if they can take it all the way, just like anybody can. Just looking at the championships past, I'll have to, just don't quote me on this, but there really hasn't been like that crazy of like, say, like a dynasty of a certain player that's completely dominated the scene. It always feels like there's a new player winning the championships every time, and I think that kind of just proves to show that really anybody can do it. And part of this YouTube series, it's not really for like growth or for me to get like famous or whatever. It's really just for me and myself to kind of be honest about myself as a competitor, and try to take this very seriously, or as seriously as I can, while also trying to document balancing a very real life alongside it. I'm a full-time adult, young adult. I'm an engineer. I travel almost all the time, and my job can get stressful and there's long hours. But what I really want to showcase in this YouTube series really is showing you guys kind of my journey and kind of coming in as basically a beginner into the scene, and trying to provide, what I've found helpful, and just overall documenting my journey from kind of just like day one, to see where we can get to. But yeah, the short-term goal that I don't want to say short-term goal, definitely the long-term goal that we're working towards, and I'm kind of putting myself on the line for, is becoming, qualified for Worlds next year, which is very, very ambitious. I know that's not something that's easy to do, and I'm not trying to take it as something that is easy to do. I just went to the store, and I'm kind of doing this the old-fashioned way. I just picked up a couple pens, and I picked up a notebook. And the goal of what we're going to do is kind of at the end of every day, we are going to journal. We're going to try to study as well on, various aspects of the game, and whether that's through YouTube videos, articles, or, blog posts, Discord servers. We're trying to really soak up as much information as possible, and make sure that I know it and document it. Part of the documentation too is just to really communicate to myself and hold myself true to actually what I'm improving with, what's not working, and what do I need to pick up on, as well as trying to have short-term goals that we work towards in this whole thing as well. So yeah, I really don't know what this YouTube series is gonna unfold to be completely honest. I'm just trying to do what I can when I can, and document that anyone can do it. I think a lot of people when they hit my age kind of hit like a quarter life crisis in a way, and I just kind of want to show that the human spirit, and I know that kind of sounds corny, the human spirit, whatever, but just whatever you put your mind to, you can do it. It just all matters on time and stuff. So I think I'm going to go ahead and end it there, and then we're going to go ahead and pick back up once I get settled into my hotel room for this work trip that I'm on. And we're probably going to get into some showdown. We're going to take a look at the winning team of Worlds and seeing what their stat breakdown was. And yeah, we're going to hopefully try to copy it, and then try to at least do a couple matches. We're going to take the matches pretty seriously. I am going to be putting 100% into each match that I do, and if there's ever a point where I'm not putting that 100%, we'll go ahead and just take a break for the day, right? I'm really only looking at fully dedicating and making sure that knowledge is being soaked up in this process, and that I'm not just kind of glazing over it. The amount of time you put into something definitely matters, but the amount of constructive time that you put into it has it weigh a bit more. So yeah, let's go ahead and pick up in the hotel room. All right, so it took a little bit longer than I wanted it to. I went to go to the gym for like 30 minutes just to get some cardio and some light weight training in, and ate some dinner, settled in to the hotel room here. It's around 9:50 now. It's getting kind of late, but we are going to at least try to do a couple games of Showdown with the winning team. I just want you to know as well about some of the stuff that I might be doing off camera or off stream. And one of those things that I've been doing, which I encourage everyone to do, and if you're watching this, you're probably already doing it, which is just soak up as much information you can on forum pages, YouTube, Google. You could use ChatGPT as well, but just check your sources first. And will point out the videos that I watch, and kind of either take notes on or highlight some components on. And I really do encourage you to go watch those videos like I have. Obviously, I won't be watching those videos on camera, I don't want to really do reactions to them. It's really just me either writing notes down or just listening to the video while I either do the dishes or and I'm working out. So the video that I just finished up watching today was Wolfie's Introduction to Competitive Pokemon lecture number 1. It's about an hour-long video, and this can help you teach, not teach, but it'll help you learn really the basics of competitive Pokemon, where it started, what it's all about. So I have a feeling if you're watching this video, you kind of already know the gist. But I wanted to come at this, even though I consider myself to know, a fairly decent amount, as like a casual viewer of VGC. There's still a lot to learn and a lot of things that you can apply, especially if you're trying to become a competitive player like myself. Which is really great about these lectures is that Wolfie does treat this as a seminar that you would take in like a college class, which I think is actually really cool, and it's actually really helpful to learn. And one of the things that he has in here is like homework tasks, and so we are going to do those homework tasks. I'll try to memorize this stuff all throughout tomorrow, but as you can tell, this video is like 5 years old. It's a bit outdated. This entirety of this video, though, I would say about 97% is still accurate, and will definitely help you upskill where you want to be. And I learned stuff from this as well. So the first thing that he has in here is memorize the abilities of the Pokemon in this image from the first 3 weekly tournaments that were happening. When this video came out, I guess Sword and Shield was brand new, coming out, and so this was the usage of some of the Pokemon at that time. So just to kind of apply this into a bit of a more current situation and standing, I'm going to do the same exercise where I memorize the abilities of Pokemon, but just to make sure that I'm keeping up with the times, I'm kind of taking my own approach and actually looking at the usage stats of Pokemon that were used during Worlds Championships, specifically the Day 2. Usually this is the second cut of Swiss rounds, so this is where I will be kind of trying to memorize the abilities of each of these, and I'll like maybe build a Quizlet or something. I don't know. Don't quote me on that yet. But I can name some of these off the top of my head. But like Ursaluna's Guts, I don't need to explain that one. But if you don't know, you could look it up. One of the best places for you to do those type of things, which I'll talk about next, is Smogon. Smogon's like new to me. I actually don't know how long this has been around, but this is a great place for you to kind of view Pokemon in a different perspective than you probably used to. I know when I started getting into competitive Pokemon, it started with like a little bit of ROM hacks, playing some fan-made games. Things like Poke MMO is something I also played, and they take a lot of VGC elements into those games, and it kind of helps me look at Pokemon differently. When I started, I was like, oh, I want to build a team with my favorite Pokemon, and that's what I'll do for the story, right? Is just build Pokemon that I think are cute or that I think are cool. What Smogon allows you to do here is look up said favorite Pokemon and then figure out how they're actually used competitively. So like a funny story for me is like one of my favorite Pokemons of all time is like Politoed. I just like the little frogman, and fortunately for me, he has seen some pretty good usage competitively, and I'm able to look at someone like Politoed and kind of look at what the recommended use case would be in wanting to use a Pokemon like this. You'll also notice when I go search up any type of Pokemon, it will tell me the abilities it can have, the typing, I don't know what tier list is yet, but I'll learn that. That's kind of the whole point of these videos, is to, be able to look at everything and figure out actually what we're doing. And then what you'll also see is kind of the recommended move set, item, ability, nature, EVs, and for your Terra type as well. Move sets are pretty self-explanatory. These are the ones that you use in the main story if you're a casual Pokemon fan and you kind of play that. Same thing with item. You might have used, I think the most common one that I think I used in my playthroughs when I was playing it when I was younger was like Quick Claw. That was like an item that was given to you fairly early in the game to attach to one of your Pokemons. And, you can kind of look at the items that are recommended, and if you hover over them, it kind of tells you what the item does. We also have ability, and then you can hover over ability and you can see what the ability does. Same thing with the natures. You can kind of see, with natures going into, what stat does it take away from to give more to another one. And then this is just the recommended EV spread that it builds out to. And as you'll notice, it kind of just explains what this moveset would be for someone like a Politoed, which is its main purpose is to really set rain in doubles teams for that weather boost. So that's the reason why it will run something like a Damp Rock, which will take the rain dance that it performs and makes it 8 turns instead of 5. But then you also pair that in with the ability Drizzle, so that you don't need to waste a turn to set up Rain Dance, which you normally would have to do on a Pokemon that doesn't have Drizzle as the ability. So this is like, I would kind of build out teams kind of with my favorite Pokemon, and I would build out running a Politoed with Rain Dance and Drizzle. And then, kind of using this as my go-to. I might have changed out Terra Blast for Weather Ball or something like that. And then I would have gone ahead and used someone like Raichu, for example. I think Raichu might have a bit more options. Oh, I guess not. But I would use someone like Raichu, and I would use the ability Lightning Rod, which allows itself to take any electric move that would have been used and actually take that from the opponent's side and actually give it a stat boost instead. And then I would pair it with something like Thunder, for example. And these are the learnable moves that you can see down here. Looks like there's nothing in the contributions for Raichu. So this is what happens if you try to look up a Pokemon and there's nothing there. So you can see that with Thunder, for example, it would do 110 damage, but the accuracy is 70%, which kind of sucks. But if you actually read into the move, it can't miss in rain. So you can kind of see the synergy that I was creating with 2 of my favorite Pokemon, which was honestly kind of fun. And, I kind of encourage you, if you're getting into competitive Pokemon and, you're just trying it out, definitely look at Smogon, look at how you can use some of your favorite Pokemon, and then, try to build some team synergies in there. We can go ahead and look at a few different Pokemon. We can look at somebody like Amoonguss, for example, who has way more accolades in the competitive scene than someone like a Raichu. You can see that we can filter out by format here, and you can see it has quite a lot, but you can go down to VGC Reg Set I, which is the regulation that Worlds was just played in, and this is kind of the what people are recommending you use the Pokemon for. So this is kind of a bulky support Pokemon, and it kind of shows you the option that you can kind of do there with it. And then there's a few things that you can change out, depending on what you're doing. All right, so I feel like that's a bit of a good introduction to Smogon. I am not the expert in like every single top used Pokemon of all time. Uh, in this tournament, this person used this and it had this move. I don't know the difference between, if a Pokemon can learn a certain move or if it can't. So while I'm playing Showdown, I am going to be utilizing Smogon as much as I can. And also trying to utilize Smogon in tandem with trying to at least memorize the ability and typing list of these Pokemon, um, which is hopefully going to be easy. So, um, yeah, let's kind of go ahead into what I worked on kind of a little bit off screen just to kind of make the video go a bit smoother, which was copying the world's winning team. And I got this information from Pokedata. I just kind of literally just went on Google, looked up, World's 2025 Masters winning team. And then this stat breakdown was shown here. It kind of tells me the held item, the Terra type, the ability, and the moveset of the Pokemon that were being used. So in here, I was able to just literally just word for word copy this into Showdown. But if you're a quick learner, you probably realize that it doesn't have any of the stat breakdowns in this information. And at the time of this recording, I don't think the stat breakdown has been shared. But what we went ahead and did was just I kind of looked at Smogon with all of these Pokemon and looked at the recommended move sets, and pretty much everything was the recommendation. So I kind of just went with the recommended stat breakdown as well. So you can see it's like an adamant nature, with the stat breakdown of putting our IVs and EV training into HP and attack. And same thing goes for Lunala and everyone that we did it for. Again, it's just a copy and paste situation. I'm not here at the point of my learning to really accurately build my own team. I think if I was to build a team right now at this point, it would be for fun, which is why I'd say just like if you're new to this, build for fun, because that's kind of how I kind of fell in love with it, was just trying to create these wacky team buildups that had some pretty good synergy, or you can do like Perish Trap like Wolfie does and see how well you do. So yeah, I think what I'm going to do right now before we jump into it is at least just look at the movesets and just read each one and just know the power and accuracy of what we're utilizing. So for Seed Bomb, it's a power of 80 with 100% accuracy. So we know this is always going to hit unless we get some type of debuff. Sucker Punch usually goes first, and it fails if the target's not attacking. So, if I go to hit a, let's just say Miraidon. If I want to go hit a Miraidon and I think they're going to use an attacking move, I can go ahead and do Sucker Punch and hit them first before they can hit off their move. But let's just say that Miraidon went for a Protect. My Sucker Punch would fail. That's what it means. I know I'm kind of just explaining the obvious, but this is just there for those that really don't know. Spore has a 100% accuracy to cause the target to fall asleep. This move is so good. When you kind of rewatch World's Championship match, it was really a battle of Spore and this next move, Rage Powder. And one thing I just do want to keep in mind that's not really explained here in the moveset is that Spore does not affect other grass users. So every grass type has an automatic immunity to Spore. And then we have Rage Powder, which again, like an amazing move, which is the foe's moves target the user on the turn used. So basically what this means is, like let's say I had a on my team, my Brute Bonnet and the Ursa Luna, for example. And let's just say my Ursa Luna's at a really low health, and I make the call that my enemy team is going to double attack my Ursa Luna just to confirm the kill. So what I can do is I can go ahead and utilize Rage Powder on Brute Bonnet and allow that call where I would think that they would hit the Ursa Luna, and I would actually move that over to Brute Bonnet. So they would actually hit Brute Bonnet instead. So he tanks the damage and allows me to hit another facade off, which is huge. It is a definite battle of, I think probably one of the more underrated Pokemon, especially for this Worlds, was Brute Bonnet. It's very similar to Amoonguss. And Amoonguss was the more heavily favored one, but I think we're going to see a ton more Brute Bonnets after this Worlds. Lunala. So we're going to start just from the bottom because I have it clicked. Trick Room, it turns the order reversed, so high-speed Pokemon go last. This is especially helpful because if you just kind of take a browse at this team, we have we have 3 slow attackers, and then we have 3 pretty fast attackers. So we have a good spread of being able to manage if we want to trigger the Trick Room and have the slower speeds go faster. Or let's just say that like the opponent doesn't have Trick Room, I can utilize my faster Pokemon if I want to. And Trick Room's always good to have regardless in the case that like the opponent that has a Trick Room, and say I went in with 4 Pokemon, and those being like Flareman, Koraidon, Chi-Yu, and Lunala. Let's just say the opponent performs a Trick Room. I could then perform a second Trick Room and revert the changes, which would keep my speed advantage. Wide Guard protects allies from multi-target moves this turn. So I honestly haven't used this really too much, but pretty much, if something like a Surf wants to hit, I don't know if it would be a Surf, but like it could protect against that. Sorry, I moved ahead too fast. Meteor Beam. Meteor Beam is awesome. It normally hits on turn 2, so the first turn is a charge up. It does 120 damage, 90% accuracy, and then raises your special attack by 1. And you're probably wondering, like, oh, why would I use this with, if it's a turn 2 attack, my opponent will know it's going to come, and then they can just double protect. That's where the Power Herb comes in. It's a single use, 2 turn moves complete in 1 turn. So you pair that up with Meteor Beam. That's the idea. Moongeist Beam, which is a ghost type move, 100% accuracy, 100 damage, ignores the abilities of other Pokemon. I really need to see this in action to see how well it is, but obviously I'm new to the game, and even though I was at Worlds, I didn't watch a whole ton because I was too busy doing photo ops. Whoops. I guess I didn't explain the item I'm having on Brute Bonnet, which is the Citrus Berry. Restore a quarter of your health when you're at half or less. So as soon as we hit that 50% mark on the HP bar, we'll get a quarter of it back, which is good for those big attacking moves that they'll try to use. Ursaluna, one of my favorite Pokemon. I'm really glad that it won Worlds. I think it's a very strong Pokemon, has been for a really long time. Even an Ursa Ring is super powerful. What we're having is that we're utilizing the ability called Guts. If this Pokemon has is statused, whether that's a burn, poison, paralyzed, whatever, its attack is 1.5 the original. And it ignores burn halving physical damage. So you're like, oh wait, why would I ever use this? Because what you can pair with this is the Flame Orb, which burns the user after the first turn. So let's say that I started with a Ursaluna, in my opening start. I will perform a move with that Ursaluna, and then after that turn, it will become burned. And what that means is that I'm going to get a base boost of 1.5x attack. And you're probably like, oh, why? Like, that's good, but is it that good? There's other abilities that I could use, like Life Orb and whatnot. But you pair that with one of my favorite moves, which is Facade. And the power doubles if the user is burned, poisoned, or paralyzed. So that means that it will do 70, and then, we can do that quick calculation because I'm not good at math that well. It will be 1.5x, right? So we can times it by 1.5. So it'll be 105, and then I think it's just another plus 70 because we do 2. I'll have to see how this scales. I know Showdown does it, so we can just look at the Showdown marker, but we're potentially doing 175 damage with one move right there. I'll double check, don't quote me on that, but it's a huge move that you can use. You also have Earthquake, which is great for double damage on Pokemon. Headlong Rush, which is 120 damage for, like, if you want to go for a fast, quick move that you want to use on somebody, try to get some sneaky damage on. This is the one to use. And Protect. Pretty simple explanatory there. My main goal with this is to try to open with Ursaluna as much as possible. And hit a Protect on turn 1. That way I mitigate any damage possible. Not all of it, but most of it. And then I will have my Burn proc. And then I will have plenty of damage to send to my team. And there's also a great synergy there where if on the same turn 1, I throw in my Lunala, and I could hit a Wide Guard or even a Trick Room. And the Trick Room will allow my very slow Ursaluna to go first. And just have them go crazy in Trick Room. There is a funny thing that I keep thinking of, which is can you survive 5 turns in Trick Room? It's like a pretty funny meme that they copied from like Five Nights at Freddy, I think. So I think it's pretty cool that Trick Room has such a cool thing. There's so many good like little memes in here. It's great. Anyways, we're going to Chi-Yu next. Chi-Yu, we're using a Choice Scarf. If you don't know what Choice Scarf is, your speed is 1.5x proc. We're already at a base speed of 167, which means we're going to be super duper fast. This is just to help guarantee that we're one of the first Pokemon that moves during these turns, which is especially helpful when we want to run moves like Snarl, which can lower special attack by 1. So if we know that they're sending in a Pokemon that's very famous for its special attack, again, I'm throwing Miraidon under the bus. It's like a very big special attack sweeper. I can throw Snarl on him and try to disrupt my opponent into either switching that guy out or just putting him at a disadvantage on using his special attack moves. We have Overheat, which is a move that we can use kind of like as like a last bit of a call. It's a special attack. It lowers our special attack by 2, which is quite a lot, but it has 130 power. So kind of a good move. Heat Wave is also a great move. 95 power, 90 accuracy, but a 10% chance to proc a burn. And, those things count. 20% chance to make a target flinch with Dark Pulse, 80 power, 100% accuracy. Koraidon, good old Koraidon. This one is a close combat Life Orb variation of Koraidon with a Terra of Fire. Normally you'll see this or like a Collision Course Koraidon, but the one that won Worlds is a close combat one. So this is really like a sweeper, and you got to do it fast. It summons Sunny Day when it comes out, which helps when we use something like Flare Blitz or Flame Charge, and then the Terra Fire as well. So a lot of good defenses that we can use that lies in here. Fluttermane, I think this was probably the MVP, and like I'm sure he will come out and say it as well for Geo, but like his Fluttermane completely won him the last game of the finals, and it just ran away with the game. I think this Pokemon is ridiculously strong. Um, Looking at its stat spread, it has a base speed of 205, which is just nuts. Um, I'm realizing I put the wrong item on. Sorry. It's supposed to be Focus Sash, not Focus Band. Oops, that would have sucked. And the moveset we're using is Shadow Ball, Ghost type move that does 80 power, Moonblast 95 with Fairy, Icy Wind that does 55, but it has a chance to lower their speed, giving us that speed advantage, and a Protect. So this is the team. I just wanted to go through the movesets just to make sure that like I knew what they did. And, part of what I wrote down here was that we do 3 games. I am not looking to win a single one, if I'm going to be completely honest. My goal is to, of course, win, but I am not going to be mad if I lose. I'm going to be new to this. I'm also playing one day after Worlds, which I think like everyone is going to be playing this team or variation of this team. So I kind of think I'm going to go against a couple sweats, if I'm going to be completely honest. So let's just go ahead and go right into it. And just if you're also starting new, I didn't really explain this in the beginning, but you create this team under the format VGC 2025 Reg I. So we're not going to do best of 3 yet. When I progress a bit further, we'll do best of 3. But right now, we're just going to do single battles in Reg I and just kind of see the feel for the team, kind of some synergies that I can find for myself in here. I already see some great synergies between Lunala and Ursaluna, and I already see some great synergies between Chi-Yu and Koraidon. And Brute Bonnet's just like an amazing Pokemon in by itself that can kind of fit and flex into any combination, and I feel the same way with Fluttermane. So that's kind of what we're going to go ahead and do. One thing that I am going to have up as well is a Gen 9 effectiveness chart. That's the word I was looking for. And this is going to be something that I will memorize, but I don't have it memorized right now. Of course, I have a basis of this as like being a Pokemon fan. You kind of already know the big trio, right? That like grass is, weak to fire, and then fire is weak to water, and then water is weak to grass. Like you kind of already get the gist, but it can be pretty easy to forget. And there's over 1,000 Pokemon, and there's a ton of dual typings out there. So being able to kind of look at this while I'm playing will certainly help. So yeah, we're just going to kind of get into it. Again, we're not looking at anything in particular in terms of wins. We're just looking and trying to discover synergy in the team and kind of what we can learn. So let's go ahead and do it. This is like a fresh account, so our rating's going to be at 0 or whatever the base is. So we're just going to kind of let it search and try to find somebody. But yeah. I gotta mute it. Oh no. Sorry. Okay. So first off, we're starting with a Calyrex Shadow, Zamazenta, Whimsicott, Rillaboom, Incineroar, and Urshifu. This is pretty meta, I would say. So they also have a pretty fast team. I know Calyrex Shadow, I think it can learn Trick Room. Um, but if not, I'm going to go ahead and go for a Lunala Ursaluna start because I already talked about that synergy. And then I'm going to go ahead and go with a Brute Bonnet in the pocket with a Fluttermane to help sweep. So, all right. They started with a Whimsicott and a Calyrex. If you've never played Showdown before, they put on a timer for me. So I'm going to try to be relatively quick. I'm going to try to predict what my opponent is doing. So Whimsicott's usually in here to predict a Tailwind. So I'm actually going to try to protect a Tailwind or predict it. And I'm going to run a Trick Room and then a Protect. And we'll kind of see he is either A, going to do the Tailwind, or he's probably going to switch it out. So we'll kind of see what he does here. Oh, wow. Okay, so he nasty plotted. He tried to hit my Ursaluna. So now we should have the advantage. And they have a 2x special attack nasty plot on their Calyrex Shadow. So Calyrex Shadow usually does an Astral Barrage. So I'm going to go ahead and try to at least do a Meteor Beam. And I'm going to see if I can, no. I'm going to go for a Moongeist Beam on Whimsicott and then a Facade on Whimsicott. I think he's going to protect. Yep, okay. So he encored my Lunala. So my Lunala is only allowed to do Trick Room. Great play by him. His Whimsicott was able to go first, which means my speed tie is done. But I took out his Whimsicott, so we look to be doing good there. I could do another Trick Room here and then switch out, but something tells me I can predict a switch in. He's going to try to do a fake out with Incineroar here. So I'm going to go ahead and do another Trick Room. No. I think he's going to think I predict a switch out. So I'm actually going to keep it as is, and then I'm going to do a Ghost into Facade on Calyrex, and let's just see what happens. I don't think he's going to protect. Oh, that was bad from me. That was really, really bad. Dang, that hurts. He also didn't do a fake out, so I made the wrong call there. That's kind of my fault. Oops. So right now, I really need to take out the Calyrex. So I can actually, in Showdown, do Weakness to Dark, and I can see Dark is going to hit double effective, when a fairy move hits it. So what I think I can do here is go ahead and try to throw a Spore on Calyrex, and then I'm going to try to Moonblast Calyrex. And he does the Protect, which I'm honestly surprised that he waited so long to do it. But now that means he won't have it for next turn. So I'm going to try to go ahead and throw a Rage Powder in, because again, this is a good situation where my Fluttermane is really low. And I think they're going to try to confirm the knockout. And what I can go ahead and do is Moonblast again the Calyrex and see if we can hit it pretty well. So let's see. Astral Barrage does double. So Rage Powder was kind of rendered useless there. And his Calyrex is going to sweep pretty much. So, I would say I had a pretty good start for this one, but ultimately kind of lost it at the end, which is okay. Again, I wasn't here trying to expect anything. I'm just here trying to make sure that I am, making the right calls. So my first game will be a loss, which is totally fine. So, second game, we are playing another variation. We kind of see the same people show up. We have a Calyrex Shadow, we have an Incineroar, Rillaboom, Urshifu, we now have a Raging Bolt, and a Clefairy. And I don't know why that one's in here, but That might be a troll pick or something. And I'm going to go ahead and try a different approach. I'm going to go ahead and try to do my Koraidon Chi-Yu that I was talking about earlier with a Brute Bonnet and Fluttermane in the back. So he opens up with Incineroar and Calyrex. Cool. So usually I can expect two things. In this situation, a Incineroar is either going to do knockoff or fake out. If it's me, if it's first turn, I'm going to try to do a fake out. So which one do I want to fake out the most? In my opinion, it would be Koraidon. So I'm going to go ahead and hit a protect there. And then I'm going to go ahead and try to hit a Heat Wave and just try to, hit both opponents. Really good call, and I got a burn proc. That's huge. Interesting from him. He does an Astral Barrage first. I was honestly expecting him to do I was honestly expecting him to throw in a Protect or a Nasty Plot. And then he did Parting Shot on my Koraidon, but since I used Protect, his Incineroar cannot switch out and have a different Pokemon in. So now, what I can go ahead and do is I'm going to go ahead and do a Terra Fire Close Combat onto Incineroar. Again, I think he's going to switch it out, and I'm going to throw in another Heat Wave. Again, another very safe call. I had a feeling he was going to do Protect on Calyrex because it's so low, and what I'm able to do here is confirm the kill on Incineroar. Cool. This is good for me. I'm feeling good with this start. Calyrex is going to either die by burn, so he can keep protecting. Urshifu's now in. Urshifu's the water fighting type. I think he's going to try to capitalize on my Koraidon here, and he's going to use, most likely, since it's the water one, he's going to use a Surging Strike. So even if I protect, I know I didn't explain this, but Surging Strike can hit through Protect. So it'd be dumb for me to use Protect. I'm going to go ahead and use Brute Bonnet instead. And I'm actually going to honestly do a double switch here and just kind of reset the stage a bit. So I was expecting a Surging Strike to hit. I think my Fluttermane is down to 1 HP because of the Astral Barrage, but his Calyrex is down. And then there's the Surging Strike that I made the call on. Cool. So that was a good switch by me, to be completely honest. Grassy Surge is out now. Grassy Terrain will heal every Pokemon on the field. The reason why this is super useful is that the first Pokemon that gets healed, it basically goes in order from the fastest to the slowest. So here, what we can go ahead and do is I kind of want to really lock in that the Urshifu cannot do anything. And so I'm going to go ahead and try to Spore Urshifu. And then I think that they're going to try to kill my Fluttermane here. So I'm going to try to at least throw in a quick Protect. I think I outspeed both of these guys, unless he's running Choice Scarf Urshifu, which he might be. So I'm at least going to see if I can throw in a quick Icy Wind, actually. I'm not going to throw a Protect. And we'll see if I was right or if I should have went with the Protect. Interesting. Okay. So he did Surging Strike. I guess I'll never know if he was supposed to do it on my... you know who I was talking about. But good. We procced the Spore on Urshifu. We at least have a couple turns. I'm going to go ahead and throw in back my Terra Fire Koraidon, which will do amazing damage against the Rillaboom, because he already Stellar Terra'd his Urshifu, which is really weird. So now I'm going to go for a double attack here, to be completely honest. I'm going to throw a Seed Bomb on him, and I'm going to go ahead and... we're just going to try to one-hit KO the Rillaboom. Let's see if we can. Grassy Glide will always go first in that terrain. So this was great by me. One-hit KO. He's still asleep. We'll Seed Bomb. Super effective. Broke the Focus Sash. This is game. Cool. Just throw in a quick sucker punch just in case he wakes up, and then we'll go ahead and close combat. Boom. There we go. The second win. I think the only thing that I made a mistake on, honestly, was the switching in the Flutter main at the end there. Because he got, Astral Barraged, and that was super effective. I just need to make sure that, like, if I think he's going to Astral Barrage, like, he doesn't hit my Flutter main. So, but that was a great match, honestly. I think I had control the entire time. And, yeah, I feel like we learned what we needed to from the first game. So let's go ahead and throw it back in. So we're doing Koraidon, Miraidon. We're doing both cover arts with the Brute Bonnet, Incineroar, Raging Bolt, and Schmergle. I'm really scared about that Smurgle. I think he's going to use him first. And Smurgle is a normal type. So I think I'm going to go ahead and go with the same, Koraidon first. I think he's going to try to open with Smurgle and one of his, riding Pokemon. So I'm going to try something a bit unconventional, probably. I'm going to open with Koraidon and Lunala. I'm going to try to go ahead and open with, like, a close combat on Smurgle, and then hit a Trick Room, and then throw in my Ursaluna and Brute Bonnet and try to control the field with Trick Room, with keeping Koraidon in the back if they somehow survive. Okay. So... Electric Terrain. I'm so sorry. Okay. So this is not really what I wanted, but they're both really fast Pokemon. If he's smart in any way, he's going to try to hit my Lunala. But in case that he tries to one-hit KO my Koraidon, I'm just going to throw ahead a Protect, because both of these targets do single target moves that I'm aware of. I don't need to use Wide Guard here. I can go ahead and use Trick Room. And I'm going to try to outspeed these guys. So Protect, hopefully he hits my Koraidon, which he does. He went for a double, which is totally cool. He got a speed proc, which works in our favor. Now we're Trick Roomed. Alright, so now we have the advantage. I'm going to go ahead and throw in an Ursaluna and then throw in my Wide Guard. So just to make sure that I memorize it properly, it was protected from moves made by other Pokemon, including allies. This move modifies the same 1x chance, and then but does not use the chance check for failures. So, alright. Okay, so I think if we do this, Ursaluna, Wide Guard, he's going to hit a Protect. I'll throw in a Wide Guard, Electro Drift. I'm a ground type. Great call by me. I'm the best at this game. I'm kidding. And honestly, I could probably just, like, shit on him real quick if I tried to do an Earthquake. And then, like, a Meteor Beam would go nuts. But we're just going to go ahead and do that, and then I'm going to throw in my my Brute Bonnet here. This is that moment where you cue the my can you survive 5 turns in Trick Room moment here. So this is what I'm gonna try to do. The reason why I threw in Brute Bonnet here is because he's Grass Dark, so the Earthquake shouldn't be as effective on him. And then that was great. So he uses Close Combat, totally fine. I broke his Sash on Smurgle, and his Koraidon is now pretty low, and there's not good status moves on either. So another thing that I can do here is, maybe see if I can get a... I'm going to go ahead and do another Wide Guard. We're going to play it a little safe. And then I think his Koraidon, if I look again, he used Protect once, so he's not Scarfed. He's probably Life Orb, right? No, he's not. I don't know what he is. Oh, he is Life Orb. I'm stupid. Okay. So we're going to Wide Guard, and then we're going to Sucker Punch Koraidon. Fake Out's totally fine. That hurts, but it's fine. Take out that Life Orb. Now, great. He's moody. He got defense and special attack. Okay, cool. We got one more room of Trick Room, so I'm going to go ahead and protect here. And we are going to... which one should we do? He's going to probably try to decorate. So I think he's going to try to switch in here. Yeah. Okay, this is what we're going to do. Cool. So now he tried to spore Koraidon there, but now he's got a 1% on Smeargle that is most likely going to decorate Miraidon. So, I thought he was going to switch in, but he didn't. So, we're going to go ahead and try to Moongeist Beam the Miraidon, because he is looking mad scary. And if you notice, Moongeist Beam is a special defense, so if for some reason he does hit the decorate before me, I can go ahead and not let that happen. Cool. Flame Charge, broke it down. Couldn't get the value that he could on Schmergle. So now this is just going to come down to the two lizards to see who can do it. Oh, I forgot he had one more Pokemon. Damn. I kind of fucked up. Oh well. Yeah, we're just going to go ahead and do what we can here. He's going to Fake Out, so I'm going to protect. We might lose this one as well. I think he just managed his Pokemon a bit better with the switches. So we're going to just... I think he might be faster than me. So we're just going to try to test our luck, I guess. I don't think I want to do Flame Charge. Yeah, I should have done the other move. That's my bad. I just didn't think about it for a second. Oh well. That is a loss. So we won one, lost two. I'm honestly itching for another one. That kind of just I feel like I should have won that one. So let's just kind of go back into it. Let's just get 4 games in. If that was, like a best of 3, I would have lost there. But this is a completely different team. We have a Terrapago Smeargle, Whimsicott, Calyrex Ice, Incineroar, and a Mungus. This is a scary team. Okay, he wants to do team sheets. I'll do team sheets, bro. So we can kind of see what he's working with. Focus Sash, Life Orb. Is he running Trick Room anywhere? He is not. So that means that I am going to try to do a heavy Trick Room team again. We're going to open with the old reliable that I liked. And then we're going to throw Flare-Mane in the back. No Koraidon in this one. So if he's smart, he will try to Fake Out. And I'm totally okay if he tries. Because I'm going to go ahead and throw in a Brute Bonnet and try to see if he's going to Fake Out my Lunala. Because he sees my team sheet, he's probably like, oh, okay, what is he going to do? Can he get it off? Can he not? And then I'm going to go ahead and throw in a Protect here. I'm kind of playing it a bit safe right now. Faked out Ursaluna. Okay. So, now what I'm going to go ahead and do is he's probably going to Parting Shot his Incineroar and throw in somebody else. I'm going to go ahead and throw that back in and throw in a... Yeah, let's just try this. Again, I'm just trying things out right now. If they're the wrong call, you probably are aware of it. It's fine. I had a feeling he was going to parting shot my Ursa Luna because he thought I was going to facade. So we're kind of just tanking that right now. His Tailwind ends in 2 turns. We're going to go ahead and protect and throw back in a Ursa Luna and just see what happens. He's going to try to decorate Terapagos. So we're going to do our best to do better, I guess. First hit goes to him. It's a great move by him. So they're Tailwind up. Moody did special defense. So my Meteor Beam should go crazy here. So again, I'm just going to try to, see who I can get. I honestly think I can probably hit Smeargle out. I'm actually just going to go for a double just to see if he throws in a double protect or not. And then I'll probably protect next turn. But I feel like since I have the advantage on speed, I should go for it. Stressful. Probably because I'm recording. Did he concede? No. He lost to... No. I don't know if I want to count that. Did he disconnect? Or do you think he gave up? Big brain. Alright, I'm not going to count that. We're going to go in with one more. This will kind of round out about an hour of playtime. Oh, okay. This is weird. Never seen this one. So, yeah. Okay. What does he have on... Interesting. Is he running Eviolite on... Okay. Alright. Okay. We're going to go with good old reliable. I'm going to try to go for... I'm going to try to be really aggressive with my start here. So I'm actually going to do a Koraidon, Fluttermane, and then Chi-Yu, and then in the back, Brute Bonnet. So Koraidon, Brute Bonnet. We almost had the same start. I thought about it. If it's anything like my Koraidon, he's going to Terrafire. I'm going to go ahead and throw Protect in, and then I'm going to Moonblast the fuck out of him. Actually, no. I'm gonna Flare Blitz the Brute Bonnet, and then I'm gonna Moonblast. Yeah. All right. Rage Powder, totally fine. Super effective against both. So immediately killing his Brute Bonnet is totally okay with me. I think it's such a good Pokemon to kill. Flame Charge does not kill my Fluttermane, bro. Let's see who he switches in as his second Pokemon. It's probably Eviolite. What is his ability? It's probably Prankster. But why? He's scaring me. Every time I see like an unconventional Pokemon like that, I get like super freaking scared. I know that's kind of stupid to say, but I'm gonna go ahead and Terrafire Close Combat, Koraidon, and then throw a Protect on my Fluttermane, just to see if he. Okay. Tailwind, yeah. So it is a Prankster Tailwind, right? Or is it the... I remember seeing a video like that once, but I'm going to go ahead and see. He's probably going to do a Fire-type move. So if I throw in Chi-Yu right now, I'm kind of screwed unless I can hit a double Protect. Do you think I hit a double Protect, or do I throw in a Moonblast? If we speed tie, I'm going to be faster because we have the same Koraidon probably at 205. I'm going to go ahead and try to Moonblast again. He just threw in Protect, so I know he's isolated. Oh, he foul played. Mother. Oh, I forgot he had Tailwind. That was a misread on my part. I got too too into it, but he is collision course. My Koraidon's pretty vulnerable here because I did protect. So, and I'm terrified right now. Let's go ahead and close combat Murkrow, get him out of here, and then I'm gonna go ahead and try to snarl. Wow, Chiyu's out too. That sucks. Yeah, this Murkrow needs to die. Like, it has Eviolite for sure. Or no, it's Focus Sash, and he's doing that much to me? Foul play? Oh my god. That's insane. Anyways, that kind of blows. I'm gonna go ahead and Flame Charge you. His Koraidon's so fast, so I'm gonna try to spore him out. Yeah, I just got completely obliterated by that Murkrow. I think it's just kind of there just to, fuck with new players, I guess. So that's fine. I should have probably, my learnings from that loss that I really would have had is I probably would have switched out Chi-Yu for Lunala. I just got no value out of Chi-Yu there. Sorry, Goldfish. But, yeah. All right. So, out of the goals that I had for today, ladies and gentlemen, we wanted to watch, just to recap, again, watch this video, take notes when we can. I'll probably be rewatching this again and just revisiting my notes and maybe taking a bit more. I started this YouTube channel, which was another one of my tasks, and then using the world's winning team, and instead of playing 3 showdown games, I played 4. 5 if you want to include the guy that left, but out of those 4, I won 1 at a 25% win rate, which isn't great, but I would say for someone new, got to take the dubs where I can. This is one day after Worlds is probably the most intense showdown it's going to be right now. I didn't even look at how many people are online at this current moment. But there's fairly a decent amount of people. 14,000 users online with over 2,000 active battles. Okay. For tomorrow, we're going to be doing a bit of the same as what we did today, but we're going to revisit the type chart a little bit. I'm going to try to take a test on it and just try to find one online, and try to memorize the abilities of those top Pokemon that were used in the championship. So yeah, this is the end of day 1 right here. All right, see you guys.